Hello, I'm Omar Perez, and I'm interviewing my dad for the Veterans History Day project. First question: how long were you deployed in Afghanistan?
We were gone for about 9.5 or 10 months total. It was almost 10 months.
Okay. How was the living conditions in Afghanistan?
It all depends what part we were in, if we were traveling towards the final destination, or sometimes it was just big open buildings with rows and rows of bunk beds. And while we were in transition, moving somewhere else, and then the most permanent ones was like small rooms built with plywood with a big common door for everybody in a hallway, and then small, maybe like 10 by 10 rooms for everybody. As a as an officer, we each had our own room, but mostly our small team, each of us had a small room individually. But you could actually see from to the other room through the top. So it was like plywood. If you threw something from one bed, it could go into the other guy's room. So it was a big room split into smaller rooms with plywood.
Okay. And what was your job there, basically? What did you do on a daily basis?
I was part of a surgical team called a forward surgical team, which is like a 12-man group of providers, surgeons, nurse anesthetists, paramedics, which we call combat medics, practical nurses, basically medical personnel that are trained to take care of uh, surgeries in the nearby the battlefield, not necessarily like in the fight, but we get the patients from the fight quickly to us so we can try to do what we call damage control surgery, stabilize them quickly, and then send them to the bigger hospital to get actual further care. So I was the anesthetist part of that team.
Interesting. And what was your favorite part of the deployment, if you had one?
Wasn't really a favorite anything, but we actually in our spare time, which we had a lot waiting, obviously nothing. It's not like we were getting patients all the time, but we worked out a lot. We played basketball with other units, so we had like a every afternoon sort of tournament of different units that had 5 or 6 guys who wanted to play basketball, and it was fun doing that and working out every day.
What was your least favorite part?
We're basically just being away, just confined to this area that you couldn't go anywhere else because we're not allowed to leave the actual base. We're just there waiting for do our job if we had to, and you're just pretty much in a controlled environment that you can only go where you're within the confines of the base, and there's only specific time that you could go in, specific time to do certain things. So pretty much a very controlled, strict environment. Security was pretty big too.
And do you remember the first time you stepped off the plane when you landed in
Yeah, I
Afghanistan?
remember when they back the gate, the tailgate of that plane open. It was like very hot, windy, noisy, and dirty. I was like, oh, it's real. This is real. This is Afghanistan, and I'm about to step out there and be ready to do my job. And hopefully we don't get to do a lot of our job because when we're working hard is because someone got hurt and we're trying to fix it. But yeah, I was kind of nervous about it, and it was pretty impressive. The whole base, a lot of planes, Air Force people, just like you see it in the movies, pretty much.
And what is the type of food you ate? Was it just normal stuff or just anything special?
Depending on what stage during the transition, during travel, well, we just ate what was on the plane, and then we we flew from Baltimore, so the first flight was just a regular, commercial plane, and then we got to Germany, normal food there also. Then, for the most part, we always had normal food in these small cafeterias that the base have that are pretty much that are local Afghanis. Most of our contractors working, cooking food for us. Very rarely we had to eat out of this, the typical MRE out of a bag. However, there are soldiers that are outside the base doing the patrols, and the combat soldiers and the support people that are what we call outside the wire. Most of them, when they spend the night outside the base, they have to eat that stuff, the MREs. But in my case, every place I went, we pretty much had regular food. Not like gourmet food, but, cooked food, hot food.
And how did you stay in touch with your family while in Afghanistan?
It was 2012, so basically most of us brought our cell phones. You could use Skype back then, FaceTime. I don't think FaceTime was available back then, but email, sometimes phone if we could coordinate the time difference, and you guys were up or I was able to be up at a different time, so we can use the phone sometimes. It was mostly email and Skype. We had Wi-Fi, but that was another issue. Sometimes it was very slow and kind of people had to group in corners to catch some of that Wi-Fi, so you can use your iPhone over there.
Do you still talk and hang out with the guys you deployed with?
Just one of them just happened to be stationed here in Alaska. So, but for the most part, they're all just social media friends, and I know what they're up to based on what I see. They're in the army here and there, but not really close to anyone else. Not because I don't want to or anything. It's just like we all kind of went different directions with the army. Also, we talk, in Facebook and stuff like that, but not regularly though.
After coming home from deployment, would you ever go back?
Would I ever go back?
Yeah, ever.
If I have to go, I'll go back. That's if they have to send me. But I've never been called upon to serve in that kind of team anymore. There are other ethnicities that probably have done it a few more times than I've done it, but I haven't been called to do it anymore. But I would. It's part of the job. Yeah.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.